Good evening, everyone. This is Carrie here for Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. And it is a true honor and a true pleasure to bring back two of my three guests from this season to wrap this season up for us. So I would first like to introduce to you Ganjo, fellow silent podcaster. Ganjo, how are you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing so amazing. I feel like I was the catfish. So I don't know. I just feel like I had so much fun watching this finale, and I'm excited to talk about it.
And then bringing back my first guest of the season is Fredo. Fredo, thank you for coming back. I had such a pleasure talking to you the first time that I was excited you said yes to coming back. How are you?
Thank you, Carrie, for having me again. I'm really good. The final was an amazing episode. I cried a lot, so I'm really excited to be here with you, with Ganjo, to wrap this up.
And I want to thank Michael again for coming on last week. He was invited to come, but he decided to go watch his from fourth place to second place Yankees. I hope they lose by 42 tonight.
Ew, sports.
Sorry, I don't mean to ruin your night, Fredo, but had to get that out there. So we had the finale. We only had one episode. We're not even going to recap. We're just going to talk about it because now we can kind of tie all these loose strings together. And I think we should start from the end. What a fucking winner we got this season. How happy are we with Delisa, who catfished as her husband, Trevor, winning this season? Ganjo, I know that you've been a Trevor fan since day one. Tell me how you were feeling after you watched this episode, or even during this episode.
Oh my God. So I didn't watch it last night. I watched it this morning or whatever. I was at work, and sometimes I get free time at work, and I was in my truck yelling. I was like, yes, let's go. I was so excited because I was like, this person had a strategy. They set this strategy in play and actually stayed on track to do what they needed to do. They did not, I guess, take the gas off the pedal so much, and they actually didn't go too fast. They sat in a really good spot, and I think Delisa did so good, and I was so excited to see that outcome. But I was kind of okay with the number two person winning as well. But
same. So, Fredo, I know from day one you were like, hell yeah, Chloe, back on my screen. I love this bitch. She is the best. Like, that was Fredo on our first podcast. So I also know that you Twitter interact with our girl Delisa now too. So are you okay with Delisa?
I know, Delisa. Oh my God. I'm so okay with Delisa taking the prize home. She's just such a pure soul, such an amazing human being. And we have a little interaction in Twitter 2 days ago, last day, I don't remember.
He messaged it to me and I was like, get her on the podcast.
Yeah. So she's just such an amazing soul. And I mean, I love Chloe too much. But I really feel that Delisa won, and she had the most purest reasons to win, her kid and her husband. So I feel, even though I love Chloe too much, I really feel that Delisa was the most deserving of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she had a great balance of social and strategy, like the best balance of social and strategy of the final five. I think that the other players leaned more one way than the other, depending on the player. But I do think that we saw Trevor come in and be like, okay, I'm ranked third. This is good. This is part of my strategy. Like, we got those little tidbits along the season of like, okay, she's not finishing as an influencer and she's cool with that. She says that's part of her strategy. So I love when we get someone who comes in and is able to do a little bit of both.
No, period. I feel like Delisa went crazy, and I feel like that relationship with Chloe was so important, and I really like that they were the final two at the top of the ratings because I feel like that was the most genuine, even though Delisa was a catfish, aka Trevor. I feel like that was the most genuine relationship because I feel like the River and Courtney relationship was cool, but it felt like, I don't want to say forced or manufactured so much, but that one between Delisa behind the camera and Chloe in front of the camera, I think it really balanced out very well. And I would have been equally as happy if Chloe won. Just from the Netflix representation, and I wouldn't have felt slighted either because Chloe was in that. She was in there fooling, like she was in there doing what she needed to do. So I was most definitely okay with the final two.
Yeah, I don't
I
think.
mean,
Go ahead, Fredo. Go ahead.
no, I mean, I was gonna say that at the end of the day, Chloe was the only like profile that played as a woman that reached the final. So I definitely think that we should give the acknowledge that she deserves on that aspect.
And I think everyone knew that like Chloe was popular, but I don't think that people knew why Chloe was popular, and it was because she created genuine connections with these people. Like at the beginning, sure, you have like the pretty girl that people are familiar with because they've watched this Netflix show before, but she really did the work on creating connections with 3 of those final 4 players besides herself that like I think really benefited her. And I think I don't think that Courtney and River really took like the Trevor Chloe thing as seriously as it actually was in terms of their connection. And like John kind of just forgot that Chloe existed at points in his strategy. So I think that was like, I honestly thought she was going to win going into it, especially when River was like, I'm voting with my heart. I'm voting purely on who deserves it. I was like, oh shit, like Chloe could pull this out for this reason.
Yeah. Wait, this gets me like a question. Like, if you were in the final, guys, will you vote with your heart or will you vote strategically?
I have an icebox where my heart used to be, so
Good answer.
strategic.
We love to see
Purely strategic.
I think I would do more my heart because I've seen the first season, I guess, of the UK circle, which does not really matter because it was like a whole 5-star rating. I've seen the first 2 seasons of the American and the second season of the UK. And with that, there's no true way to make sure you win the game besides having good relationships. So voting strategically is important, but like it's a crapshoot because you don't really know where everybody's going to be at because
everybody's a strategist, yes.
Period. Everybody went strategic. Like I'm pretty sure Courtney and River strategically put them like not in the best positions because like I think River put Chloe first, right? Or am I or
River
John
put
first?
Courtney first.
Courtney first, okay.
And Courtney put John first.
Yes.
And he put River third.
Yes. So that strategic situation probably hindered River from winning, basically. And it like I think you kind of gotta, if you 10 toes down with your alliance member, you kind of gotta at least trust them enough to be like, okay, I have to put them number 1.
How would you vote, Fredo?
I feel that I will be such a bitch the whole season, but I feel that in the end, I will vote with my heart in the final because like if I don't win, at least I want somebody that I like, that I enjoy to win. So like I will try to do that. Like I will vote with my heart in the final for sure.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't know if there was anyone in that 5 that anyone was very like, there's no way I want this person to win. Maybe I could see like Trevor feeling that way about River a little bit and like River that way about Trevor a little bit. Otherwise, I don't think there was anyone that was like, nah, fuck this guy. Anybody but this guy.
Which is kind of crazy because John came in pretty late. So I feel like I don't know if it was manufactured connections, but I feel like they connected with John very fast and very deep, kind of quick. Even though John was 5th in the ratings, it seemed like they all had really good rapport with John really fast. And I didn't understand that, if that makes sense. Like, besides John, I feel like it could have gone either way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do want to go back to Delisa real quick. How fire did she look in that dress? Oh my God.
No shade to Trevor, but she got a fatty. I said, oh.
Oh my, like
she packing.
On that angle, I was like, girl, I am envious of that ass.
Oh, she's just perfect. That girl.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Chloe also looked amazing as well.
Amazing.
The
She
two of
always
them.
looks amazing.
Yeah, she always does. But when Delise came out, I was like, damn. That was
a true power couple.
Amazing. Wow.
A genuine true power couple. So while we're talking true power couples, I think this might be a good place to like slide into the like Twilight Zone of why did this end the exact same way that the UK circle did. And so I know that my co-hosts here still have a little bit of you are catching up to do on the UK circle. So, for those of you who watched the UK last season, the final two is Manrika and Felix, who was a catfish being played by a woman named Natalia. So come to the US circle, and you've got Chloe, who is in the final two with Trevor being catfished by Delisa. So you have that couple in both, and the man finished first, both of them. Very weird. Very weird. So I bring this up because if you tuned into Ganjo and my first podcast, I was convinced that Netflix was cutting my internet because we were onto this conspiracy theory that we were saying too much, that this is Vithin in his interview with Rap basically said, like, the circle producers put 11 of their 12 eggs in the basket of the relationship between Manrika and Felix. And if either of them went home, then they lose their whole storyline. Did you feel that was true with the US season? Do you think that they invested that much in the Chloe Trevor relationship?
That's a good question. You can go first, Shirley, if you want, but I also can go first. I'll go. I'm bad at making decisions. I know that's like typical me. I'm bad at making decisions. I do feel like it was a very strong storyline. Like, I don't know if they catered to it. There wasn't many times that, even though Trevor was Trevor was never an influencer, but it was times where Chloe could have went a certain way, but Chloe was never taking out Trevor.
Trevor was an influencer with Chloe. Because remember, it came down to like
when they took out Kat. When they took out Kat.
Yes, when they took out Kat. Yes. But before that, yes, that was like one of the later block-ins, and prior to that, like, Trevor was not in there. But even when Chloe was always influencer, so I don't think Chloe was ever going to take out Trevor in that situation. But I think if the opportunity rose where River had the opportunity to super block anybody he wanted by himself, he didn't choose Trevor. He chose Mitchell. And I think that could have been like a thing where Trevor was more dangerous in the game than Mitchell was at that point. So it's the balance between, did River, aka Lee, make a bad move by keeping Trevor in, or was production telling him to keep Trevor in, if that makes sense?
I don't know, because I feel that that's something like Lee says when they all together on the table, and he was like, I was trying to protect Trevor because he was the boyfriend of Chloe, and I was trying to protect Chloe. Like, I wanted to keep all of us together because of Chloe. So, like, I feel that even though River should have done Trevor, I feel that at the end, he blocked Mitchell because of his emotions. Because he knew that if he would have rid of Trevor, probably Chloe would have been mad at River, and then his chances will be lower for him. You know, it makes sense.
But no one had to know that it was
true.
Right.
He had the perfect opportunity to just snipe him. And
I have a question though, Carrie. Do you think they got to talk? Okay, after the block-in, because we didn't see them communicate in between when they actually met up and like when they got exposed that Mitchell had left the circle. Do you think they got to actually have chats at that point, or do you think they went right into ratings and that's what it was?
I think they would have showed us if there was a circle chat. Because it's like that last minute opportunity to like state your case, sway someone's opinions, whatever it may be. So I think that it didn't happen because otherwise I feel like they would have showed us that. So yeah, because I think that we would have seen conversation of like, okay, so which one of you was it? Because then it would have been, they would have known that Mitch was gone. Who would have blocked him? Okay, let's figure this out. That I don't think that they had conversation. I think it went straight into the ratings.
So, Fredo, I actually got another question. Fredo, do you think like that's like basically? Do you think that's like too powerful, basically, to be able to like take somebody out and not have to like basically discuss like about it, because like you go right into the ratings, like it's kind of stressful. Like you have to have your shit set up. So like, how do you feel like the super influencer really like affected the end game? Do you think it should have been the last vote, basically?
I don't know if should have been the last vote. I think it should be like 2 before like the final, because I feel it's such a power move, and it could have been able to do a shift on the power of who has the power on the game. But I feel that being alone is definitely a lot more easy than having a partner, because when you are in influencer with somebody else, you need to see for both interests of the both of you. And with it's only you, like you need to do what is best for yourself and for your game. Which I don't think is what River did. I think River tried to see for all the members of the Kardashians, all the interests of the Kardashians in that moment, instead of doing for himself.
Here's one reason I'm okay with it. I'm not 100% set on like this should be the thing at the last vote every time, but I do like the fact that going into the final ratings, you don't see who was the most popular, the ratings before that, because I think you're more likely to tank that specific person for your final ratings. So you don't have that recency bias of, okay, well, River was first and Courtney was second, so we definitely have to tank them because they were popular this last time. So I do like that component of it, that it does leave a ratings in between of when you've seen the last ones like revealed and your final ratings. However, the whole power of like getting to block someone, whoever you want, no questions asked, is very powerful. So I like the blind part of it. I don't know if I have a defense for or against the blocking. I just don't know what else you do instead.
Right. No, I got you.
Yeah. I'm not mad with the decision. I'm happy that Trevor stayed.
Period.
Right.
Most definitely. No, I agree with the position of it, because that is important. Not knowing who literally was at the top is way better. But I think that's really why River made the decision River made. I think River felt like if River took out Trevor, then Chloe would feel betrayed some way, and she might be betrayed at them, even if she does not know who the super influencer was. So I guess tactically, I guess, and knowing the outcome, it was bad, but it's hard for me to knock River, I guess, fully for making a decision to, basically block Mitchell.
I guess something that's interesting, again, results oriented, is we saw River vote with his heart and not strategically for the final rankings. So for him to say like, well, Mitchell, you were going to rank me low, and Mitchell was like, hell yeah, I was. Then for him to turn and just be like, this is who I love in the order that I love them, and that's how I'm going to rank them, is kind of contradictory to me, because like he was strategic with that, but then there was no strategy with his voting.
Agreed.
Wait, but once again, it goes like with what I said, that I will be like strategically the whole game until the final, where like at least I know that in the final is all the people that I try to take and all the people that I really care, and that if I don't win, I know that I'll be happy with any of them winning.
Putting it out there that in the UK one, Natalia, she bought Manrika a Cartier bracelet like after the show ended, like an expensive diamond bracelet with their money. So like, I guess good on you, Manrika, for putting Felix number one. You got those jewels. You might not got all the money, but so I get your point there of like maybe the first place person's gonna buy you a nice dinner or something, or
you never know. Oh my God! Wait, this makes me think: will Delisa have bought something to Chloe after like playing with her feelings? Because like, wow. That's so hard.
I think if Chloe wants to be friends with Delisa, then they would be really good friends. Like I think that was. I know Chloe might be shook that Delisa ended up being not Trevor, but I think the connection they made was real, because Chloe ended up mentioning in the circle when they walked in, I basically fell for a woman, and she was shook. Like she felt like that never happened to her before. But I think Chloe is gonna learn a lot from this, knowing that she likes people for people. Like, this is just everything clarified, like, my vibe about Chloe and how good of a person that Chloe probably is. I know this is TV, and I know she was kind of extra, for the camera, but I think it's deeper than that. I think Chloe really knows how to connect with people, and I think she really wants to be able to connect with different kind of people. And I think this showed her, hopefully, I don't know, I'm not Chloe, but how I seen it was, it showed her that she's able to connect with anybody and feel comfortable with not only just flirting with a guy. Like, she was technically flirting with a woman, but she was just being herself, and she was able to connect.
And it was shown, like, she being influencer and all that. Like, it was shown that she was able to connect with them.
Yeah. I also think that she took it in stride much more than Manrika did when she met Natalia, who was catfishing as the guy that she was seeing, circle seeing, I guess. So, like, I thought that it was, like, I appreciated how Chloe handled all of it as well. And like you said, she took things from this. Like she said, like, I was kind of naive in the fact that anyone could be a catfish. But I also think that's what made her so good at the game, is she was like, I also didn't kind of care if you were a catfish, because if we have a connection, we have a connection. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, as long as you like me and you're going to keep me around, cool.
Period. We talked about that, I think, on our podcast. We basically was saying, like, I want them to get to the point where they don't care about who's a catfish, who's on my side, who about to help me get this dub. And even with the catfish in the game, because I think Trevor also helped Chloe get to number 2. I think Trevor put Chloe number 1. So, like, that relationship with Trevor helped Chloe stay influencer. I just think other players got scared of Chloe. Like you said, like, Chloe was the last visible person that was at the top. Who was right next to her? Delisa, aka Trevor. So basically that's kind of how it shook out, where they were paying attention to Chloe because Chloe was always up there, but they didn't realize Trevor was right on their tails. Trevor was in 3rd place almost the entire game. So that was big. So that was a good strategy. Being in 3rd place is actually a really good strategy.
Okay, so my question, because I think something that sets the circle, especially the circle finale, apart from a lot of other reality TV show finales, like, forget reunions. Reunions are a different beast. But, like, for me, I personally think that a lot of times the finale is, like, the worst episode of a reality TV season, because you either have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, or it's just, like, boring, or it feels, like, forced of the drama, whatever it may be. But the circle is so genuine when they meet at that dinner table that they never fucking serve them dinner at, by the way. I'd be pissed if you brought me
I also noticed that, Carrie. Like, I also wanted to comment that. I was like, they were only drinking. Like, why do they have plates? Like, don't fool me like that.
If you sat me down at that fancy table and you don't at least give me bread, fuck you.
Yeah, they hold them.
But that's what I think is, I think separates the circle from other reality TV shows is the finale. The finale is so good just based off of that, like, face-to-face meet alone. So I would love to talk about that for a little bit. We got Chloe coming in first, and I think they brought her in first because they knew that they wanted her and Trevor to have that one-on-one. And so Anne walks Delisa in her amazing gold dress. What did you think, Ganjo, of the of that initial meeting, that interaction?
Awkward. Like, Chloe was shook because...
Wait, sorry, like, I just want to say that something that I noticed really weird in that moment was that in the room they announced, like, alert, this person is coming, when, like, in last season on other versions they don't announce who's coming. Like, it's up to you to discover who it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point, Fredo.
And I think, that was a good point. I was like, why they tell? Because that's why they were shook. Like, how did y'all know it was me? Basically, because they walked in. I think somebody mentioned that, like, how did you know it was me or whatever? Because I think it was River, maybe. Like, but when Delisa first came in, Chloe knew it was Trevor. So Chloe was shook. Like, I noticed they didn't hug. I noticed that, like, Chloe was like Chloe was visibly stunned. Like, she like when I tell you, I know it wasn't acting at that point. She really thought Trevor was a real person. So when Delisa walked in, I was like, oh my God, I wonder if they're gonna like be able to talk. Like, and Delisa's like, I'm sorry, basically this all happened. I had to do this, you know, my family, Trevor's my husband. But I thought it was really cute that, like, you know, Chloe, this might be a UK thing, but Chloe expressed what she was feeling on her head. Like, I know she's also on a TV show, but she was like, oh, like, that's very more awkward that it's your husband. Like, she was just saying little things to, like, you know, express herself. But I enjoyed it, even though I felt like it was really awkward at first.
Fredo, how about you?
That's what I feel. I feel that Chloe is really genuine. I mean, yes, probably she's a little too naive about the things, but also I feel that that's what helped her to be so herself, you know, like she doesn't keep the things to herself. Like, she explains. I mean, no, she expressed the things, even though it's maybe not the best moment to say it, but she always says what she thinks. And I think that's what makes Chloe so likable, because I feel like it's really her. It's so genuine. And I feel that the moment they both like in that moment I cried. I cried a lot during the episode.
I made a noise when Delisa won from trying to stop myself from crying, from being a little bitch. And also I was so excited that Nitro was laying on the bed with me. He was the reason I was up that early watching it. That he like turned and gave me this look of like, are you dying? Like, what is something wrong? Should I alert Brett? He gave me this look, but I got emotional when Delisa won. And when they FaceTimed her husband and her kid, oh my God, that was amazing. I loved that part. I'm glad they let that happen. And we got to see it. That was real cool.
Yeah, I thought she was about to. I thought the producer was about to pop up and Trevor was gonna be there. I'm like, okay, y'all did this.
I also thought Trevor was gonna be. And I was like, oh,
right. She's like, you want to talk to him? I was like, oh. And then FaceTime, I'm like, okay, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Like, Trevor got his little FaceTime time on the little tablet. You know, their daughter got to kind of be on TV. You know, it's just cool. I really enjoyed it. Like, I mean, how would y'all feel if somebody went away for 3 weeks or however X amount of time? Let's say 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's probably like sequestered. 4 to 5 because there's a 2-week quarantine, and then the game show is about 3 weeks, so they're probably over a month.
So yeah, and then you the first FaceTime you get is a random FaceTime, whatever time it was in the UK, and you gotta call your like real Trevor and be like, oh my God, I just won. I don't know. It was really nice to see. Like, I enjoy the finale, like you said, Carrie. Like, I enjoy like the whole vibe of it. Us not knowing who really was going to win. I think that helped the whole experience, you know, be amazing.
So we'll backtrack to our meeting, which again is like my favorite part. We get the meeting between Chloe and Delisa, which again, like we said, Chloe was, you could tell by body language, like, oh my God, what have I been doing on TV for the last 3 weeks? She's like, and Mitchell was hot. I should have gone with him. Like, girl, save yourself. You voted for Trump. And so then we get Courtney coming in next. So what did we think of Courtney coming in? Fredo, how did you take like Courtney's energy, his interactions with the two of them? What do you think about it?
I really liked Courtney. I mean, I will say that probably I wasn't his biggest fan of his decisions, of his moves, but I really enjoy his positiveness, his smile, his jokes, and I was really looking forward for the moment he was going to meet Chloe, because like they always say, like they were like this little family, like their little sisters. So like I was really looking forward to see how they were gonna connect between, and how he was gonna react to see Delisa, aka Trevor, because wow, his reaction to he discovering that Delisa was a catfish was amazing. Like, wow.
Ganjo, I know you're not the biggest Courtney fan, so how was this for you?
It was cool. I mean, he came in on the same energy. I was mad he didn't brush his hair, but like I was like, okay, you can come in here and be Courtney all you want. That's fine. I didn't know if he won the game or not. I don't want to say it was just more people who I feel like played the game better. It's like my whole thing. I like Courtney until he start like being anti everything for Savannah. Like I understand Savannah was your friend. You just met her, bro. Like she went home, figure it out, play the game for yourself. And I think Courtney started playing the game to get revenge for Savannah. And I think he lost his position at that point. And I mean, that was a while ago, and he was still making the Joker. You know what I'm trying to say? Like all of that backtrack to basically him trying to set up Emily, who he felt like set Savannah up to go home. So it was like, Courtney wasn't playing for Courtney, but I thought the meetup was cool. And like, they really embraced Courtney because they was like, okay, we didn't think you were a catfish. You know what I'm saying? I think like Courtney was the most safe person to not be a catfish. If it wasn't Courtney, I mean, not Courtney, if it wasn't Chloe.
Yeah, I agree with you, which to be fair was just them as the non-catfish anyway. So I do think to relate to that, my dog is being vocal. Something to relate to that is when Michelle pointed out at the final that like, you guys don't like real people anyway. You say you want to like make these real connections. All the real people are voted out on the side. And that was like my first like, oh shit, yeah, like none of them.
Because both the catfish
came back in,
turned to another catfish.
So if you want to be successful in the circle, be a catfish. That's what it comes down to.
Period.
So I thought that was funny. Yeah, I did appreciate like Courtney's energy when he came in. I think like I'm gonna give Courtney the benefit of the doubt that he got himself too entrenched in the game component, that we didn't always get that same happy-go-lucky Courtney, but also he's been in a room by himself for like 5 weeks at this point, and getting to see people that you've been interacting with in like that first meetup could bring out the Courtney we probably would have enjoyed if he was able to be consistent with that. Go ahead, Gonzo. I see you.
I feel like I would like Courtney if Chloe wasn't on the show. And the only reason I say that is because I feel like they fit the same mode of being extra and being like over the top and just being like that character, I feel. And I don't think, like, I personally feel like Chloe shined brighter than Courtney. So it didn't like resonate very well, I guess, to the audience, aka me, what Courtney was doing, because it felt like it just felt awkward and weird. But honestly, with Chloe, she was very extra, and I can see through her extraness. And I know she's making a TV show, but it felt more like me. She was like not a trained actor, but she knew her job, and Courtney was just trying to be entertaining, if that makes sense.
After you made the comment of like, the circle is trying to get Courtney to be the person who like makes those quips at the end before they cut to another scene that are supposed to be funny and they're just like not landing a lot for you. Once you said that, so these last like 5 episodes essentially, I was like, oh, that is happening a lot. And I just didn't, it takes a lot for me to laugh at a TV show. So like in the few instances that I did, it was usually when like Chloe said something stupid and I would lose my shit, like her trying to count to 7. She's like, there's 7 people left. Wait, no, there's 8. That like, I laughed out loud at that. But like, I realized when you had said that afterwards, I paid attention to that. I'm like, oh, they are trying to get Courtney to be that person. And like you're saying, Chloe's kind of like naturally funnier due to her like, I don't want to say a dumb girl persona because that's too negative, but that persona of like being a little ditzy but still being like funny and cute and endearing all at the same time, that I agree with you. I think that if Chloe's not on there, maybe we get to see like Courtney's the one we think is that person instead.
Right.
Another perspective of Courtney.
So after Courtney comes in, then we get River, aka Lee. And I loved this one. It just kind of like warmed my heart how everyone was just like,
John?
Yeah. What did you think of the Lee River uncatfishing, Gonjo?
I thought it was cool. I think I think once they saw Trevor, I think they just knew anything could be up. You know, Jose, I think they were expecting it. Like, I Courtney seemed to really think River was real, but I think they were expecting Lee to be somewhat of a catfish. But overall, I think they all got good welcomes. Like they weren't like anti each other. So I did like River coming in, like, oh, my name is Lee. And she's like, "Oh, my name is Delisa," and it was like cool like that. They had to they could connect, but I liked River coming in. It was cool.
How about you, Fredo?
Yeah, I mean, I love Lee. Like I know Carrie didn't like he crying all the time, but like
he stopped
that
though. Lee hardened
did.
up. He stopped crying. He ended those emotions like after the second or third time.
So like I really like Lee, and I feel like he was just trying to be so genuine, and he was trying to play, but then again his hearts came in the middle. Like I really like him as a person. I don't know if it was the best player, but I really like him as a person, and I really felt that the moment when he met the others and how Courtney react to him, like it didn't matter if it was River, if it's Lee, if you're young or old, like Courtney still loved Lee because who he is, because what he expressed through the screen, and I think that's the important thing. So I really like Lee coming to the room, especially he and Courtney meeting each other.
Yeah, I was excited for that too, and I think Courtney took that well. Of like, oh, okay, I had no idea. Really thought you were real, but cool.
Period.
And then last but not least, we get Santa John, aka Lisa and Jack coming in.
Before I forget, Michelle said some funny shit like, y'all really believe the psychic Santa was in here, and I was dying.
True. So I liked how they had Lisa come in first, and they were like, "Oh my God, Lisa, you're back!" Blah, blah, blah. And then Jack came in, and they were like, "Oh my God!" So I thought that was fun. Anything you took away? Because at that point, I feel like there was a lot going on, so it was like hard to kind of focus in on anything specific. But anything you took away from Santa John's reveal, Fredo?
Not much, because I feel like everybody was still so amazed by Lee and Lisa, and because like seconds before Lisa came in, they were talking about Lens Bass and Lisa, and then hey, I'm back, Lisa, and then once again you see Jack, and then I feel it was Courtney, the one that was like trying to put all the pieces together and explain it to everybody, and like it makes sense how they could how it went, like how it worked, that new character. Courtney helped everybody to make sense how.
They were still I felt they were still confused though. Like I think they didn't want to just look like super confused on TV, but like it was like,
maybe
who is this? He was like, who is this? Like, why are they still here? Like that's how I feel. That's the vibe I got here. Like, why are they here? Like, what's going on? We took them out. But it was kind of weird. I don't know. It was kind of awkward. Like, I don't know. I think just them coming in as a pair was just like, because they were expecting one seed, and like, did they even sit down at that point? I think they sat down,
but they sat kind of close together. So something that happened in this finale that hasn't happened as much as it did in this one is they let them talk game and strategy a bit, like after the fact of things that went down, where we really don't usually see it. They more focus on like the catfish meaning the non-catfish and all this stuff. And I really enjoyed that. I liked so that. That they kind of got to hash out like, okay, wait, who is the Joker then? Who made that poster? And like, oh, so you did this and this.
What's
and
the influencer? Yes.
Yeah. I really liked that. And in all honesty, like if I would pay a Patreon to watch an hour of that conversation.
Easy.
Yeah, let me see all that footage.
No, I do feel, I agree with that. I feel like it gives us a better understanding of them as people, of how they were feeling. You know, some people was like, I clocked the catfish. Like I know Delisa said, I thought River was catfish for a minute, and it kept ragging on River for not understanding who was a catfish. So I know it's a lot of inside baseball stuff that we don't hear from the contestants. So I wholeheartedly agree with. Just a little $3 Patreon, maybe $4 I'm willing to pay. You feel me?
Freda, what do you think of all the like post strategy conversation at the dinner?
I really liked it because, like you said, like I don't feel that it's something that is shown as much as it should in the other versions, in other seasons. And like, I mean, this takes me to the back to the game, because like I really need to say that once again, Delisa, I feel that was the most serving winner because she came prepared. Like, do we remember how she had all this notebook with all the sports annotations?
She had
she really did.
On her husband, her own husband. Like, we've seen way less prepared catfish of people that
she
they
really
don't even
work.
know. Yeah, this is someone she has
really
a child with.
Yes, still had a book. Still had a book.
You always need a book, though. You always gonna need a book with your partner.
Because you see how, I think, who was his name? Sammy from season 2 of UK.
Wow.
I can't remember his real name, but he was playing Sammy, the single mom.
Oh, Joey? I think was his name.
No, I don't know. But
he was a catfish. He was like a really good catfish, and kind of like really at the end, like it kind of like ate at his heart that everyone thought that he had this like daughter at home. His name is Joey.
He had a thick ass book. Like his book was thick. Like, so I do feel like, I mean, that's another difference. I think the UK people are a little more prepared to be catfish. But the funny thing is, in America, you really don't have to be a catfish. Like, you could be a catfish, but you don't have to play a catfish. Like, well, I don't understand why people don't just use different profiles and like be themselves. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I would just use a different picture and just be exactly myself.
I've thought about that too, because it's like, all right, I've applied as myself and they didn't want me, so how can I get on here? And I've thought of like applying as my best friend, who we have a similar enough like sense of humor and stuff that we get along well and why we enjoy spending time with each other. But appearance wise, we're very different. And it's like, I really could just be Molly's pictures, but be me. Why is that so much different? But I guess like because Molly's a smoke show and maybe people would like think differently of her or whatever. But yeah, I've thought of that too. Like, why not just kind of like use your exact story? I'm sure production's like, excuse me, you said that you were gonna pretend to be a psychic Santa, and you're currently saying that you're accountant from Michigan. So like, what's
I mean, what they gonna do at that point? Kick you off the show?
Boot you? No, Vincent made a comment that I didn't like research further, but I haven't forgotten. Is at least in the UK one, he said that if they bring 2 new players in and those 2 new players finish in the bottom of the rankings, then they just get rid of those 2 players and bring in someone new in their place. That's at least how I understood it. And so that could be something that might happen. I would have to go back and I don't really want to listen again, but I would go back and like at least listen to that part again to make sure I understood, because I was like, whoa, are there other people that have come in that we just straight up haven't seen because they didn't like test well with the group that's already there? That's kind of crazy.
That would be crazy, but I don't think, I guess Lisa stayed at least for a week, but I just don't see them looking at Lisa like, oh my God, this is our bread and butter. So like, okay, that made me so mad at the end too, where they was like, she was like, maybe you're going to meet Lance Bass. Like, oh my God, Lance Bass here. And then he had a little video. And I'm like, Lance Bass is not famous enough for this. I'm sorry. Like, he's most definitely not famous enough to be leaving a cameo on something that's like pop culture like this. Like, it's not like it's JT. Or at least, who else?
JC
Chasez. Who, one of them was on like at least the sing off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know which one it
Joey
was.
Fatone.
Yes, I mean, somebody but Lance Bass. Like, come on, I'm not gonna hold you up. I was very disappointed when I see him on the screen. Like,
see, any NSYNC member for me, like NSYNC was my first concert. Like, still to this day, I'll get in arguments of NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys and stuff. So it probably depends on like what demographic they were aiming for with that. I think they were aiming more for like 30 plus than they were 29 and younger. because while I will never pay for a cameo, that's actually against my fucking religion. I hate that shit. Like, I'm not gonna give you a reality TV star $15 to be like,
Can I buy you?
No, I won't open it. Someone bought me one, and I to this day haven't opened it. They got me one for my
send it to
birthday.
me.
Who was
I don't
it?
even know
Who
if I
they
can
get
ask. They
Who?
wouldn't tell me because I wouldn't open it.
Okay.
I was
Wow.
so adamant because they were like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, you're wasting your time and your money. Like, this is something I will take a stance against, and I will die on this hill. I refuse. And they still did it.
Are
So
you mean, Carrie? Okay, Kara, stop being mean. Oh my God, stop, Carrie.
Yes, Kara. Even I received a cameo on my birthday and I accepted. Shout out to my sister Ashley Keenan. I love you.
Yes. Who was it? Who was it, Fred? I know this is off subject. Who was it?
we're
It was
good.
from Danny Boatwright, winner of Survivor Guatemala from
Okay,
Survivor.
period.
Season
Period. We
11.
love to see it. We like
Hey,
it.
if you support it, it's fine. I just
Mm-hmm.
I'm anti cameo. But I would enjoy if like Lance Bass were like, yeah, Carrie, good job playing the game at the end of the finale as I'm in the final 5. But he didn't even say Lee's real name though. He called him River.
Remember. That's because I think they just fed him what to say. Because
Yeah.
that clearly was before we saw all of that. Clearly before all of it was done. He didn't see it. I think that's why I got irritated by it, because I knew he didn't watch the season at that point. So how is he making a video talking about, we miss you, my dryer ticket's getting lost, and you did so good, River? And I'm just like, wait, what is it like? You didn't even watch the season. Where did this come from?
I did think that Michelle did a good job selling it that he was there though. Like there
Yeah,
was
she
that
did. No, she
second
did.
of like, oh shit, they flew Lance Bass in, and then it's like,
Mhm.
just kidding.
Yeah, like I totally bought it.
Now,
I
another
thought
thing
that was
about
good.
Michelle, we need to stop with the Michelle slander. She may not be like I guess like the UK announcer, but she be chilling. She be going her little jokes. I like Michelle. I love
Who's
watching
slandering
Michelle.
her? Tell
I've
them
heard people say that they didn't like the US host for the circle. But I'm gonna let y'all know this now. Shout out to Michelle. We love you all here. You all
We
here.
love
I
her.
laugh at Michelle. You know
we
what I mean?
are a pro Michelle podcast
We're
here.
pro
Period.
Michelle in this
Yeah.
podcast, yes.
Mhm.
Honestly, probably the times I laughed the most at this series was her comments.
Mm-hmm.
There was times where she roasted people where I was like, get them.
Mhm.
We need that.
Oh my God, wait, Carrie, like she roasting people. Like you didn't enjoy when she talked to Brian. I love how you are a walking cookie fortune, whatever
That
it's
was
called.
funny, Fredo. What you got in the front? Yes, the walking fortune cookie. Oh yeah, that was funny.
Like, oh my God, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I hope Carrie made a note about this because
No, she's
That was
great.
funny.
Anyone who has anything to say about her, I will gladly have words. I support that woman. I think she's funny.
Same.
So, I think that for the most part, we've covered the main parts of this finale. So, a couple of questions. Actually, there's something that I wanted to ask you, Ganjo, because we talked about it. And Fredo, feel free to chime in on this. But right after we talked about, like, when is it going to come up that people are fans of this show? And you were like, probably not till season 4 because they already filmed season 3. Then the next episode, Lee was like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of this show, when he blocked Mitchell. And he's like, you know my mom. And then at the circle or at the table when they all met each other, like, oh, are you guys fans of this? So then do you remember Ed from last season? That was Mitchell's brother. And so I thought that was kind of cool. Something like a little meta that came up. And I do like that. I hope we get more of it. I would love for people when they're in their rooms to be like, okay, well, this happened in season 1 or whatever. I'm hoping we're getting to that point because I think that personally the circle needs to pick a lane, and it's trying to do a little bit too much of be a TV show and be a game show. Like, are you going to cater to the social strategy nerds like us? Or are you trying to cater to the people who like still care that Savannah and Tara Alicia are arguing over something stupid?
Oh God.
Right. No, right.
So I'm hoping that the circle kind of picks up that people enjoyed that strategy component they put in at the end. And like, we liked hearing that they were fans of the show and that these things can come up and it's not going to deter people. What do you guys think about that?
No, I'm sorry. I personally think that as long as the US can somehow detach from the UK circle, I think our circle could like not be as cookie cutter and so cute as like the other one is. Because I think the other one, the UK is more a show, most definitely. I feel like it's more presenting, you know, friendships and, you know, love and all that kind of stuff. And it's like light. I don't know about this third season, but it's light on the strategy in the first 2 seasons. But I believe this one, I think Delisa showing that she won strategically from the get-go. It wasn't independent strategic thing she was doing. It was like she had a strategic plan to make sure she set herself up to not be the best person, but to be right behind them. And I feel like hopefully new fans come into the situation where they even cast fans. I think that's important too. They have to cast fans for it to be like, okay, I think this is going to happen here. I think this is going to happen. I don't want nobody to break the game like a Kevin Martin on BB Camp 5, but I do want people to be, I guess, aware of, you know, trying to play the game to their strengths and, you know, knowing specific spots that they can, like, you know, potentially get themselves farther.
Fredo, before you answer, so Ganjo, I think you'll enjoy the 3rd season of the UK if you like look at it from the strategic lens, because I thought there was a lot of strategy that was going on. However, I think the producers were trying to make more of a show. And actually, Vithin mentioned that in his podcast that he did on Rap, where he was like, they cast people who wanted to play a game, and then they kind of like took that game away from us in some senses. So I think you'll see, because like, I can't remember if we talked about it. I'm pretty sure it was us that Manrika had a book where she tracked everything. And she was like, I basically was able to figure everything out that was going to happen because of like, you know, the patterns, you can at least like kind of guess what to expect. So I do think that when you watch that season, you'll, you might gain an appreciation more for like what the UK is doing in terms of the players are doing in terms of strategy, but then knowing like how they're kind of fucking people over as like the show, that's where it gets it's difficult. They had a good strategic cast. They did not put out the best strategic show because they like centered so much on that romance, in my opinion, at least. And
I feel that, and I just feel like, and I'll let you answer right at this, Fredo. I just feel like the UK is just a whole different vibe than America. And I've learned that watching their reality shows. They really like that team cookie cutter shit, all at the same time of cussing each other out. So like, it's like, I said this before, like the UK people can cuss each other out to their face, but really support each other. And Americans will like cuss you out behind your back and then not support you. But that's that.
Yeah.
So, Fredo, I don't even remember my question. I think it was something.
No, I don't remember TBH, but we'll go with it. Because, like, what I was going to say, because it was something about the strategic part of the game and how much we enjoyed it. Because I was going to say that I remember a lot of people, like, tweeting after, like, the first set of episodes, saying, like, it was the worst decision to block Savannah because the drama was gone, like, what they're going to do now. Like, everybody was focusing on that. And now they are... And like after those episodes, we were able to see like we have like more storylines. Like it's not all, everything about only one thing about the fight between Savannah and Alicia or the relationship Chloe Trevor. We have the Kardashians. We have the connection between River and Courtney. You know, like we have multiple storylines and different strategies that we can see from people. Like once again, we can see the Lisa trying to fight with her own morals about doing what she was doing to Chloe and like trying to play a game for her husband and her kid. So like there's not only one storyline, but we are able to watch a lot of them. So like I just wanted to make that clear because like a lot of people was so upset that they cut Savannah so early because they weren't gonna have drama. But I feel that as long as you go seeing the episodes, like you can see that there's more things to see. Like there's, it's not all about the drama. We also have the strategy part of the game, which is really important.
Yeah, I don't think drama needs to be the backbone of the show. I think that like fun relationships between the players Like in the UK one, we had Uncle Saeed, who was just a joy to have on the screen every time he was on there. Like if you focus on this US one, I mean, Chloe was so funny, and just like the way that she was able to make connections and the decisions she had to make because everyone was trying to have her back. Like you can have getting to see these internal struggles out loud is, I think, interesting. I don't think it necessarily has to be external struggles with someone else. I do have to bring one thing up, though, that I haven't gotten to speak to either of you about, but how happy are we that MAGA Mitch didn't make the final?
When he got cut, I was like, "Bet, be safe, my guy." Like, he like, oh my god, peace out. He like, oh my god, my brother's Ed. First of all, him erasing his mama from the show was kind of crazy, but I'm not, I'm not surprised. The fact that he was like, my brother Ed was on the show, not Tammy, not your fucking mama, not the person who pushed you out the womb. I don't know, but that was kind of weird. But I mean, I was happy, you know, Mitch got. I mean, Mitch was helping out Kat, but once Kat left, I was kind of like, okay, you can go.
Yeah.
But also, Mitch was also helping out Trevor, so I was kind of like, ooh, Trevor really trusts you, so I kind of like you being in the crib. But Mitchell getting taken out, I guess, ended up working out for Trevor. I was obviously Team Trevor, so I was looking in the scope of even if people may be problematic, as long as they help somebody who's not problematic, I'm okay.
Yeah. Wait, I want. Oh,
go ahead, Fredo. No, go.
Okay, I wanted to say that I really like how the edit of the episode went. Like from the start, you can see the Lisa saying that if Mitchell was the one that was blocked, I'm done. Like, there's no way I'm winning this game. And then we can see the whole episode, and then go to the end, and we can see that even without Mitchell, the Lisa still win. She's still high on their back. So like, I really like how the edit make the transition from the beginning to the end of the finale.
Agreed.
I was gonna say I loved when Delisa just went full out like, I'm the alpha, you're the beta, Mitchell. This is what you're gonna do. Here's step one. Here's step two.
And he took it.
Yeah, but good on Mitchell for being like, all right, let's go. This is my only chance. So, but I loved when she, especially like as a woman doing that, like she did get to hide behind the being catfish or catfishing as a man, but like just being like, nope, this is how it's gonna fucking go down. I loved that.
Which I think was the best thing that could have ever happened for the show, in the sense that the Lisa show, if you have a plan and you put it forward, it may not necessarily work the exact way you need it to work, but I feel like that plan worked in the sense that Chloe really trusted Trevor. I think blowing up the spot that Courtney, you know, was the Joker, which, if we go backtrack a little bit, Courtney did not have to throw Chloe under the bus, but he did. You know what I'm trying to say? And then that came back to bite him at the end. So, and then that's results oriented. I'm keep saying that because I like to throw that out there, because, you know, we don't really know what will happen if other things happen or whatever. But yeah, I feel like Delisa was playing the game how Delisa needed to play the game. Like, and it was very important that all the strategy happened. And I don't know if it was them just showing us all that, saying like, I'm doing this, my plan is working, because they, you know, obviously edited it and know she was going to win. But she had the forefront to actually say those things. Oh, and this was about to say earlier, hopefully I really blanked out before, but I feel like Savannah and Terralisha both had the potential to make this season even better. And only reason I say that is because I think what they were giving us early on, like Fredo said, it was giving us some good drama, and that wasn't the only storyline we needed. But if all they had to do was like be that in like person in like their rooms, but in the chat a little bit differently. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, bring that same energy to the camera, just don't bring it to the group chat. And I think if they would have kind of like both was like, okay, we got to chill. I'm beefing out with somebody this early. And I think if I kind of do the wrong thing, I'm going home, because that's what happened. It was kind of like Savannah go home, Terralisha go home back to back. You know what I'm trying to say? It was just like boom, boom. It took them all back to back.
And that's, I think, something that Manrika excelled at in her season was like she was so kind and pleasant to everyone in their one-on-ones, the group chats, the circle chat. But in her room, she's like, Gemma's a bitch. Like, I'm gonna, like, Andy, I need you, you know, like, just, she knew not to say it to their face, like, say it to the confessional type of thing. So I hear you on that if they had just kind of kept it under wraps a little bit, both of them had some strategic chops, you know what I mean? Like, they could have, if they had been able to stick around longer, it's definitely a different game. But I mean, it's so easy to make yourself a target when you're causing drama. Like, everyone else is getting along. Let's get rid of the ones who are like creating the bad energy.
Who are the focus of attention?
Right. Now I have a question for both of y'all. Did anybody else blow up what happened in a like influencer chat the entire game?
No.
I don't think so. So basically, them blowing their chat up, which they did not have to do, kind of got them both eliminated. Because after that, nobody else really exposed what happened in the like influencer chat.
If anything, there was one time specifically, and I can't remember which time it was, but someone went out of their way to say, yes, we made this decision together. It was tough that we had to like, and I think Chloe was one of the influencers because I think she was the one that
Trevor. I think it was her and Trevor.
Yeah, because I remember her saying like, "Oh, well, I appreciate that." Trevor said that it was both of us, but otherwise, no, they were the only ones who threw each other under the bus. And still to this day, I don't like. They were the only two that cared because everyone else is like, "I didn't get blocked. I'm fine with this. I don't give a fuck."
I don't give a shit why you block that person. I'm still here.
Enjoy your breath work and your downward dogs and all that. I'm still here. Bye.
Wait, but this like, I just remind something that. What you were saying about like not taking all this hate to the group chats and like doing it for the camera, I remember like I feel like maybe we know that Chloe's not the most strategic player, but she was also really smart in trying to keep her composure in the group chats or talking with people. Like we can see her talking, I think with Savannah and with I don't remember who else.
With
and
she's like she with kept it under control.
With Kat, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I believe you, bitch." Like that's the kind of I don't know if it's a British thing, but I might do it from now on.
It means you're lying, right?
I didn't think
I just figured it meant you lying. Like I don't know. Yeah, like you're drinking, like you're drinking to it or something.
Yeah, I think it does, Ganja. You're so smart.
So.
No, I agree with that too. She definitely did a great job of that. So I have one last question. Do you have any final points that you want to make about this season of The Circle? Fredo, do you have any strong convictions you need the people to know?
I just want people to know that Chloe's still my favorite. I love Elisa. But Chloe, she was like the star of the season. She did an amazing job. We were able once again to see her grown from episode 1 to the finale, which I was so amazed and happy to see her once again a full season on my screen because I'm just such a big fan of her. And also, like, once again, I want to say that Lisa came prepared to this game. She had notes about everything and everyone. So I think that it's something that we should keep an eye on because I don't think that I ever see somebody else having that many notes as Lisa about the players and about the things of her character. But maybe because she was a catfish, but she was really prepared and ready to win. And what she did, she won. Thank you.
Period.
Ganjo.
I would say overall, I was not too bullish on this. Like, I was waiting for the season to come and so excited to watch it. And I started watching, I was kind of okay. Netflix did good with this, and like the casting was okay, but overall, I enjoyed it. I actually had a lot of fun watching it. It was never a dull 4 episodes. And I think that's important. Like it was like a 1 episode. I think once I kind of was like, okay, I have to come back to this because I was kind of bored. But it was because like I was watching it in 4-hour blocks or whatever, or 4 episode blocks. But I do stand Trevor, aka Delisa. Shout out to her for winning. I feel like Chloe was a star. I think it could have gone the other way with Chloe. Like, why is this? This person who was just on another Netflix show, popping up on this show, taking an opportunity away from somebody else. But I don't think this will be a show without Chloe. Like this season would not be it without Chloe. So I enjoyed watching Chloe. I enjoyed watching Delisa. I enjoyed watching all the people, I guess, try it for the first time. Even Jack.
Even Brian.
Nice. I think he's the easiest one for us to get on here. So
Even Jack. Shout out to Jack. I was, okay. One other thing before I'm done. You remember we was talking, and I was like, well, I actually think this new Catfish could work, be only if Jack is able to like not be like the full person, and then Lisa is able to like contribute somewhat, and then Jack actually you eloquently said it himself, like we were able to balance that out. And I think if John had a little more time, they could have did a little more damage. Like I just think Emily wasn't the catfish for Jack. I think that's what happened. But when they got to John, I think it kind of balanced them out, and they actually were comparable players. And fifth place means nothing because the final four were original people in the circle. So you could only do so much or whatever.
Yeah.
But.
Well, to end this season out, I actually might put an asterisk on that because investigative reporter Fredo told me that we have an after party show that's going to come out on Friday?
On Friday we have the aftermath.
Check your DMs in a couple days because we might be doing part 2 of this. Let's go.
I'm excited.
But assuming this is the end of the season, and we'll talk about the after party, whatever, I do appreciate, like you said, what Chloe brought to this. We got a solid winner, and I think one of the hard things about the circle as a fan is you don't know who's going to win and if the win is justified. And something that I've kind of like taken away from it is it's not just about did the right person win, but like how did the other people lose? And in this case, I think because we got such a defendable winner, sorry for my dog, he's real excited about Delisha winning too. Or Delisa.
Yes, Nitro. We love it.
We love her. You're right, Nitro. Sing it to the whole neighborhood. That with getting such a good winner, I think it's very easy to see why the other people didn't win. And I appreciate that because other seasons it's a little bit murkier for this. So I think this is maybe besides season 1 of the UK one, which again we said is a different beast because they used a different rating system, that like this is the first winner I think that everyone thought deserved and did win it. So I'm happy about that because it makes defending this show a little bit easier. But it was fun to podcast about. I had a great time getting to talk to Ganjo, to Fredo, to Michael again, who's out watching his stupid Yankees. But I absolutely loved it, enjoyed it. I am ready for season 3 whenever it wants to come along. And then when I'm gone for 5 to 6 weeks, it's because I'm on season 4. So
Period. Carrie.
I'm making notes.
Do you think they'll let me do my doctorate homework while
yes,
I'm there? So just kidding. But let's bring this to a full closure. So Fredo, where can the people follow you on social media?
You can follow me in any social media as Fredo Angar. Carrie's gonna leave you guys on the description. Thank you.
It should be there already. If it's not, we'll make sure it's added. We had it there last time. And Ganjo, where can we follow you?
Yes. Okay. You guys can always follow me. I try to do funny things on Twitter. Not really. I just comment on Carrie and she comments on me.
Twitter is usually just us going back and forth.
Period. You can follow me at Ganjo the Dank too. You also can follow me at my ORG page at the Monarch Game if you ever want to get into miniature versions of games like the Circle or Survivor. So hit me up. Let's get it.
And oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah, my Twitter is basically just me and Ganjo. Fredo likes my shit. He replies sometimes, but I I have had people comment to me in DMs being like, I love watching yours and Ganjo's friendship on Twitter. It is so entertaining. And I'm like, that's
It really is.
That's genuinely how I feel about it. So, Ganjo, before I do my stuff, how's Mocked going? Because we know that you podcast around a few things on here, making appearances on The Circle. Where else are you at doing Simon?
Yes, so actually, to talk about that, so we're finishing up BB Can 9 coverage, so Big Brother Canada 9 coverage for this season. This season was wild, and that's, at I guess just the recap of BB Can 9. I don't think we have a name, but I also have a podcast with Esme, and what we do is we just recap all the Disney Channel original movies. This past week we just watched Halloween Town, and it was a good one. It stands up like as a movie, and like the monsters might look crazy and they might look very 90s, 2000, early 2000s, but storyline is amazing. But yeah, you can catch us at Mocked Podcast, at Silent Podcast, and we just going through the list chronologically. So pop in whenever your favorite movie come on, and we will recap it.
I had the pleasure of doing Brink on there. Great time. We talked about an hour longer than the actual movie was.
Oh my god, it was in our Brink bag here.
My friend was like, "Can you send me the link to that podcast? I'll listen to it on my walk." I'm like, forewarning, it's long. And she goes, I'm going to be listening to this on 2 walks now.
It was long as hell.
It was fun, though. So definitely check out Ganjo's stuff all over Silent Podcast. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter, KGD26. My most recent tweets are me complaining about people who were posting spoilers about The Circle.
Don't do that, guys.
Before 4:30 this morning.
Don't do it.
I just wish that there was a little bit of decency. There does need to be some sort of we do it with movies. Like if you were to go and see a movie on Friday night when it comes out and you came back and you tweeted the ending to it, you would get lit up on Twitter.
Yes.
So, or if someone came up to you in person and was like, hey, Ganjo, did you know that Delisa won The Circle today at work before you watched it?
2 hours after it dropped.
Do feed them.
Give people time.
I'm gonna tell you some real shit. I watched everybody because we kind of got some of the same followers. I watched them be respectful about the WandaVision. They was not spoiling that at all. I didn't have nothing muted, but I know I didn't get no spoilers on WandaVision. So why is it different now? Like if y'all consciously were not spoiling that. Just you don't have
it's
to
not
tweet
your
everything.
obligation, guys. It's not your obligation to tweet everything you do, okay?
Or get a burner account. Do something. I don't know.
Get a life.
I just wish that how great would it be at the end of this episode, Netflix put before the credits, please wait 24 hours before mentioning this on social media. Or you know what I mean? Because okay, the first 12 episodes, sure, because it's blocks of 4. I get it. That's hard to have a grasp of, and especially it's not the finale. The finale here is so unpredictable. Let us have a day to watch this. Just 24 hours. As of tomorrow, tweet your shit off. Because the other thing is most other social medias, except for maybe Facebook, have some sort of spoiler way of, okay, maybe not Instagram, but Discord, you could put the spoiler tags on it. And then on Reddit, it's they have the rules on the challenge subreddit of do not post anything without a spoiler, whatever
Alerts,
it's called. Yeah.
Thing.
And then you can start putting things in the titles of your post 36 or 24 hours after the episode airs, the Survivor one does too. I just don't understand why we can't come to a gentleman's agreement, if you will, of 24 hours, and then after that, tweet the fuck away. But give us time. If my dog didn't wake me up at 4:30 this morning, I wouldn't have watched it until probably 1 something. And at that point, I'd seen 3 or 4 different people tweeting their asses off about it. I just want to be able to watch it and not know.
And enjoying it.
To be honest, Delisa liked that post I had made. I was kind of like, if John wins, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm Team Trevor. Yep. She liked that post, and I didn't peep until like later on, but I'm happy. Like I kind of wasn't paying attention to her liking that post because like, you know, it could have potentially spoiled something, but even me liking it, like her liking it, whatever, it wasn't that deep. But 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, you let it be on for 4 hours and then you had to tweet. Like, come on, something. Like, why do you have to tweet so? Why is that so important to you? Like, to be the first person to say yay, like, good job.
Like, you're not gonna receive an award. You're not gonna be invited to the next season if you are the first to tweet. Okay, like, chill a bit.
Yeah, straight up.
Yes. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's what I'm bitching about currently. It changes, and Teacher Appreciation Week. Those are my two current gripes.
When is that?
I hate it. I hate
the whole week.
Teacher Appreciation Week is this week, and it's such a joke. Like, okay, I guess while we're talking about it, so here's my issue is like, how is appreciating me like giving me a cookie? You know, like sincerely, those are things that like we'll get this week, and it'll come with some stupid little saying of like, you're no cookie cutter teacher or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then so they gave us a breakfast on Tuesday. The breakfast was decent. They have a food truck coming in on Friday for us for lunch. Here's the thing. My boyfriend is a bartender. Before every fucking shift they feed him. I get food twice the whole year, and it's this week. I got breakfast on Tuesday, and I'll get lunch on Friday. Like, there are jobs. For example, my roommate was like, it was when I first moved in with him. I was getting stuff together, and it was, I think I was like washing my coffee mug or whatever, and he's like, they don't have coffee for you there? I was like, hell no. Like, you went to public school to give us coffee like on a regular basis? So like, it's these types of things where it's like Teacher Appreciation Week, and they're like giving us like a 50-cent off coupon somewhere. Like, below me. This I do not feel, yeah, like just don't give me anything at all. It's cool when the kids like out of the blue are like, hey, I really appreciate you, whatever. Like, that means 20 times more to me than when they're like, you can get a half sub from Jersey Mike if you buy these 4 other sandwiches. Like, thanks.
Not even nothing free to give you a coupon.
Like, it's such a joke. If they want to appreciate me, you can look at the scale that I tweeted where we are between 2% and I think it was 20% underpaid for people at the same level of education as us. And so as someone who has a master's and is in process of a doctorate, I'm sure that my percentage is just like decreasing by the fucking second. So in conclusion, appreciate me by filling my wallet.
Period.
That's all. That's how I could be appreciated.
Cash.
Yep. Money talks. So yeah, if you want the written version of this, follow me at KGD26. So
Preach.
And then, so I need to find one other thing to let you know where you can follow Silent Podcasts. Of course, I can't find it, but here's what we're covering. There's a lot of things like ending this week, unfortunately. RIP to some quality TV and content. But you can follow us on Twitch at Silent Podcast, on Twitter at Silent_podcast, and at YouTube. Oh, I should have undone this because it's in the way, but whatever. I'm a rookie.
No, but this graphic is very cute.
It is. I think Sean made it. So thank you for that, Sean. You are, as always, the best. So follow us. We would love new listeners. Tweet us. We bring on a bunch of people to come and talk. So if you're like, if you're at the Fredo level, we'll bring you on. But we're covering Disney Channel original movies, The Circle, The Challenge, Temptation Island just ended. I'm sure we have more stuff in the works. So give us a follow. We are fun. We will provide your ears with some lovely information. But that is all we've got. So again, thank you again for tuning in. Ganjo, Fredo, thank you. We might be seeing you real soon if we see this after party is worthwhile to cover. I would love to talk to you guys again.
We'll find out.
Hopefully. On behalf of Silent Podcast, where we're anything but silent, we will catch you next time.
Bye.